All right, all right, all right. Call me Matthew McConaughey with that intro. It's time. It's been a long day, but it's time to watch the Falcons play. Normally, that's a thing of stress. Like I'm ready to be stressed out, but I'm actually here to relax. I'm ready to watch these dirty birds take on the Niners, and it's a big one. I mean, anyone who's a Falcons fan, anyone from the state of Georgia, I think knows the amount of vitriol the Falcons are going to have for the Niners. And then now that Kyle Shanahan's the coach, these last almost 10 years at this point, geez, there's just something extra thrown in. So here we go. It will be Pinheiro kicking off here for the Niners. Falcons will receive the kickoff, and we are underway to the 10 to the 20. Breaks one tackle, kind of slips up there, but the Falcons will get the ball here at the 22-yard line, and out comes Michael Penix Jr. He had a fantastic game last week, at least in the first half. Things got a little bit weird in the second half. And make sure we get the possession arrow correct. It is. And so we'll see. Obviously, a lot of weapons for Michael Penix. None bigger than the man lined up behind him. Number 7, Bijan Robinson. Receiver up top, 2 to the bottom here of the screen. Robinson lined up behind Penix, and we've already got a Niner jumping off sides. Falcons unable to catch him in the neutral zone. So I don't know if Penix's hard count is that effective or if they saw something in film they like. Either way, Robinson end around, and that will be good for about 7 yards. Hope everyone's having a good night tonight. 427, 426, 425, 1424. Matthews is back in the lineup. That's honestly the biggest thing. I think the reason the Falcons offense stalled in the second half last week was because Matthews was not playing. Shotgun for Penix. He's looking. He's under pressure. He's having to scramble outside the pocket. He's going to hurl it deep and just misses Kyle Pitts. That landed probably a few yards out of bounds. So probably not just a just miss, but he had Kyle Pitts open. I am going to eat. I've got my microphone in a way where it will not pick up my eating noises. But I have not eaten today. So, whatever it is. Excuse the setup as always. Still moving around. So everything is kind of a mess right now, but we're trying to make it as best as we can. Penix moves Bijan across the formation, now throws to him, and he is going to be pushed out right at the marker. It's going to depend on where they spot him. They're going to spot him about a half a yard short. And it looks like Raheem is going to send on the punting unit. So I don't blame him here, but you also have the best running back in football. So if you're going to want to take a shot, you have the tools to do it. Yeah, just barely short. I don't know if I'd like to take another look at it. I know he's definitely short. It's just whether or not they got the spot right. So Falcons to punt. And it is away. And this will be fielded at the 8-yard line. And quickly, a lot of white jerseys, and the running back or the receiving back here manages to stay on his feet, but it feels like all 11 Falcons are in on the play. So now it's Niners football. And Mac Jones leads the San Francisco 49ers out onto the field. Not good field position here. Obviously, a lot of players banged up for this 49ers team. Feels like that's a yearly occurrence. Jones, under center. Will bring it back over. CMC now shuffles out of the backfield. And Jones is under pressure, and he is sacked right away. I saw some 49ers fans saying that it would be a little bit easier this week with no Jalen Walker Jr. Well, welcome to the blank squad. This is not your granddad's Falcons defense. Well, it might have been your granddad's Falcons defense, depending on if he watched the grit splits, but just excellent. You see, just shift over. Really simple stunt there, and now it's already pushed back to 2nd and 13 for the Niners. Hand it off to Christian McCaffrey. He finds a hole. He's going to get at least half of that back, maybe a little bit more. Should be about 3rd down and 4. And that is what having a star running back will do for you. You don't have to throw the ball. You don't have to put your quarterback in harm's way. Hand it off and let him do the rest. Both of these teams, I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. It's just how creative can you make it when everyone on the field seems to know where the ball's going. 3rd and 5. Jones takes the snap. He's going to find McCaffrey just behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll fall forward, or the line to gain, excuse me, and he will fall forward for the 1st down. So McCaffrey, so far, has touched the ball on both actual plays from the Niners. Obviously, the sack doesn't count because we had no clue where he wanted to throw the ball. Devon Diablo on the tackle there. Under center is Mac Jones. You're going to see a tall sweep to the left side, and there's an opening before finally Caden Ellis wrestles down the runner. So a lot of familiar schemes if you've been watching the Falcons long enough. Run back at them. Just a nice power toss up to the left side. And, of course, when you have that man pulling, it's very dangerous. Trent Williams. Kyle Juszczyk goes in motion across the field. It was an interesting running back draw play there. It looked like Jones was going to do a quick pass, but you already had, that was just enough time for the running back to get going forward. Yeah, we'll see if there's Brian Robinson. We're going to run into that in this game. I didn't even realize. We've got Brian Robinson and Bijan Robinson on these teams. The classic fantasy football mistake. Jones under center. He's going to send McCaffrey out wide to pass. He's just going to dump this off down the middle of the field in between the linebackers and the linemen. That was Juszczyk on the reception, and that'll be good for a 49ers 1st down. So outside of that first initial play, where Falcons basically gave Mac Jones half a second to throw and he didn't get it off in time, it's been nothing but success for the 49ers on this drive so far. Bring Juszczyk right across the formation again. Now there is pressure on a screenplay set up for McCaffrey. Defense read it well. Jones has no choice but to just check that ball into the dirt at CMC's feet. They'll bring up 2nd and 10. We're going to take a bite to eat while we have a minute. Jones, under center, brings Juszczyk behind him. CMC is also behind him. Run to Christian McCaffrey. That's going to be bottled up. He'll gain about 2 yards of the play. Looks like that is Harrison on the tackle. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. You're in a weird part of the field here. Look at Jeff Ulbrich, who has turned this defense all the way around. And credit to Raheem Morris for bringing in a guy who is not typically his style of defense, because that's what he knew he needed with this group of personnel. Brings a receiver over in motion. CMC to the left of Jones. Jones looking to pass. He's under pressure right away, and he will air that ball over, and that'll bring up 4th down. Jones took a hit on that play, and we'll see if the Niners are going to bring out the field goal unit. And this is something that's different. There are so many different players who can get after the passer. Actually, he didn't take a shot. He just fell down. And it will be the punt unit here. I was going to say it was going to be a long field goal. Yeah, no man's land kind of part of the field. Morstead, he'll kick to Agnew. So both teams getting a defensive stop on the first drive of the game. This is going to bounce into the end zone for a touchback. You thought Neal might have had a chance at it there, but it's not to be, and the Falcons will take it when we come back from commercial. I hope everyone's having a good day. I really am. I really do. Make sure I get everything right. So I know you're a 49ers fan in there, because I assume that's Steven. Or don't even see a thing I can even call you with all the numbers. But I was going to say, so have y'all just not been giving Brian Robinson touches? I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, you have Christian McCaffrey, so it's like the whole thing with Falcons, like relying too heavily on Tyler Algier when you have literal Superman as your starting running back. So, but I mean, something I really enjoy that the Falcons will do is they will put both backs on the same field at the same time. And it just opens up more holes for Bijan because, I mean, you have to then account for, well, the ball might go to Tyler Algier here. And he's also perfectly capable of gashing us. We're going to see. Hell, we should have a commercial timer, in all honesty. Okay. Just making sure that's actually picking up something in OBS now. It is. So if there was an audio issue, I do apologize. Taking a look at my fantasy football team right now. Cam Cussion's anonymous, so you know who I have, is currently winning 132-28 over Jerry Potter. So that's what everyone cares about, I'm aware. Made a very savvy trade to wrangle the Browns defense away from my opponent this week. 5 fab for a win is absolutely worth it in my book. And we're back to the action here from beautiful Santa Clara, California, and the Bay Area 49ers. From the 20-yard line, Penix. He's going to bring Bijan now behind him. Hand off to Bijan, and there are a lot of red jerseys. Lucky just to get back to the line of scrimmage. They'll bring up second down and 10 until they watch film, because there's a lot of everyone knew what was happening there, which it's the first time the Falcons have shown that look, so not super out of the ordinary. Tyler Algier to the right of Penix now. Penix looking to throw. He'll find over the middle. That's to Drake London. Oh, no, excuse me. That is to Bijan, or that's to Darnell Mooney. I cannot see. I saw one white jersey and a lot of red jerseys. So good to see Darnell Mooney back in this. Really kind of the engine that can make this Falcons offense get to new heights. Has the ability to completely take the top off of a defense. Already first and 10. Penix blocking back beside him. Mooney and Robinson to the top. Now he's going to bring Robinson around. Fake the handoff to Robinson. Penix rips the seam to Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to get a lot here down at the 40-yard line, but there is a flag on the play. This is going to be holding against the Falcons, so that's going to come all the way back. That's unfortunate. But if they're not going to, if the Wilkinson, absolutely, yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness, that is an interesting hold. I don't know if I've ever seen that hold before. That's very interesting. Just fully out behind a Niners edge rusher, head and just arms wrapped around the front. That'll bring up 1st and 20. Charlie Warner is going to be in the backfield with Penix, and now he's going to bring Bijan Robinson around. Hand off to Bijan, and he's going to get a gap, and he's going to get about 9 on the carry. They'll bring up 2nd down and 11. So you're back somewhat on schedule. Yeah, no, they showed the first bit of it. I was like, I don't see a holding. I don't see a holding. Oh, there was definitely holding. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. If you've not watched the Falcons much this year, it is a lot of motion and moving Bijan around the formation. Just making sure you can't spy him. Darnell Mooney, or that's Bijan, goes in motion. Penix over the middle. That is 9-5. Drake London on the grab. That'll be 3rd down and about 1. We're going to say I've got something special for the whole Penix to London thing that I coded in. So, 1, I hope it works. 2, I hope it doesn't get like my channel taken down for copyright. And 3, I'll probably save it for the bigger plays. But here we go. 3rd and 3. And this is big. Your defense was on the field for a long time. Last time out brings Robinson across the formation, and now back behind Penix. Penix is just going to throw. He's got Kyle Pitts on an inside release. Nothing you can do in man-to-man against him. And that is a 1st down for the Falcons. Yeah, just when he is actually playing to the best of his ability, you can't play man coverage on him. Kyle Pitts he's too fast for your linebackers. He's too big for your corners and defensive backs. So, and it's been good. He's been incorporated into the offense like solidly this year. Bijan comes across the formation. Now he'll come between himself and the runner. Penix looking to throw. He's going to find Drake London, and he'll get a gain of about 3 before he's taken down by a host of red jerseys. Letting Penix, and we're just treated to Fred Warner's toes for free here. So really enjoy that if you are able. Geez, I don't know what this stream even is. But yeah, Fred Warner, obviously out for this game, out for the rest of the season. And no Bosa in this game either. Penix in the shotgun. He's got Algier behind him. Fakes the run, and he's going to find Bijan in the flat. And he will let Bijan scamper for the remaining yardage. And that'll bring up another 1st down for the Falcons, who really have something going now on this drive. So that's the thing. Bijan, obviously, he's a fantastic running back. He's going to get his touches just with the classic handoffs. He's going to get a lot of yardage in unconventional ways. You're going to see a lot of these quick throws. You're going to see screen plays, you're going to see pitches to the outside. You're going to find any number of ways that Zach Robinson is cooking up to get Bijan Robinson the ball in a creative way. Penix fakes to Mooney, and now he's just going to throw this ball away. He's under a lot of pressure. There are 2 men now completely guarding Bijan Robinson, no matter where he is in the formation. Which, I mean, if that's what you got to do to win, that's what you got to do to win. But that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Drake London, Tyler Algier, and of course, Kyle Pitts. I feel like they're showing the black and white photos now of Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson working together in the offseason. The black and white photos really look like we're watching the end of some like high school sports movie. Pitts goes across the formation. Penix will throw to Pitts, and that will be a gain of 7. They'll bring up 3rd and 3. Right now, the Falcons having a lot of success just working the middle of the field. As long with these big receivers they have, just getting a nice inside release, and A cornerback, a linebacker that's lined up on them is not able to get through that big body and get to the football. A rare full huddle now on this drive. Penix lined up in the shotgun. He's going to bring London across the formation and now back. And just a nice simple handoff to Bijan Robinson, and he's going to make a hole. He bounces all the way across the formation to find a little bit of breathing room. And that should be good for a Falcons first down. Bijan had to do two full stutter steps to even think about getting to any sort of daylight. Bijan off the field. You could tell he's looking a little bit winded. He looked this way in the second half last week a little bit. Wonder if he's a little bit sick or something. Penix fakes the handoff. He's looking deep. Now he's under pressure. Penix is just going to take off with this. Well, now he finds he's going to stop throw. That's to Tyler Algier. And it's going to be incomplete, but there is a flag on this play. And it seems to be a face mask against the Niners from what Tyler Algier was signaling. We'll see the call, which seems to now be going against an eligible man downfield. So that's going to come against the Falcons. That's on Ryan Newsel. That's not all that surprising, considering that Penix almost gave the signal that he was just going to run it. And he was under a lot of pressure, so interesting. 4 receivers basically lined up to the bottom of the screen. Now Algier goes in motion. They're going to do a screen pass to Kyle Pitts, and that is easily bottled up. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 17. So it's almost like when you line up every single player you have on the bottom of the screen, everyone knows that's where the ball is going to go. And just a man goes completely unblocked. Matthews unable to get there on his pull to the first cornerback lined up on the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 17, this drive is quickly moving backwards for Atlanta. Darnell Mooney goes in motion. Penix backs up. Now he's going to take off. There is a flag downfield, and Penix looks to get about 3 yards, but we have to see what the penalty is. In that portion of the field, you have to think something like defensive holding. The ball was never released, so it can't be pass interference. But this would be a huge break for Atlanta if there were to be a penalty against San Francisco. We are discussing it, all 4 umpires here. And now the call. If NBC will actually show it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, 2-5. Yeah, both on the defense, so okay, yep, both against the defense. Both. So San Francisco bails Atlanta out there. Atlanta was going in the wrong direction from the beginning, ever since they crossed midfield, basically. And now San Francisco is cutting the Falcons a break as we only have 1:15 to go here in the first quarter. Robert Saleh in his headset. Penix lined up. Algier behind him. We haven't seen Bijan on the field here in a minute. Mooney across the formation. Penix fakes the handoff to Algier, and he's just going to dump that all the way across the formation. That sincerely looked like intentional grounding. He didn't clear the line of scrimmage, and there was no receiver in the area. It's a very interesting last few plays here from both sides. They're not going to throw a flag, so Falcons got to get away with one there. Penix He's got a runner to his left side. Brings Mooney across a little bit. Penix looking to throw. He's checking it through his options, and he's running for his life. Now he's going to throw. He finds Bijan Robinson, and that's going to be real close to a first down. They're going to say he actually went backwards and was pushed out of bounds, so he's not going to get forward progress on that. So 3rd and 1 here for the Falcons. Good to see Bijan get back involved. When you can't spot him out there for a few plays, you start to get worried, hey, is something wrong? And that's just how much the Falcons like to use Bijan Robinson. And he's got 36 yards so far through the first quarter. Penix under center. And he's just going to hand this ball off to Tyler Algier. And that is definitely good for a first down. And that should take us all the way to the end of the first quarter. Your score still scoreless with the Niners and Falcons tied at 0. And this should be a pretty quick game, considering how much both of these teams like to do little short passes over the middle, and with how much they're just going to hand the ball off and let their star running backs do what they do best. So we're going to move to scoreboard. We are now in the second quarter. And perfect. So around the league, obviously, Jaden Daniels earlier today suffered another hamstring injury, which is, you hate to see it, but he's not been playing. He hasn't been, let's say it this way. The Commanders were not playing great necessarily, and I know he had been gone for a while. Like, he had just gotten back into it last week. But I'd still hate to see that for a young star of the game. And the NFC right now is just an insane, it's just a bloodbath all over the NFC. In the NFC South, I mean, you've got 3 teams looking to get over or to be contenders for a wild card or more in the Falcons, Panthers, and Bucks. Bucks have consistently looked like the best team in at least the NFC, if not the NFL. I think the Colts will probably give them some run for their money, considering the Colts had that big win today. Take a look. I do think the Panthers won. Yes, I knew they were up when I last looked over the New York Jets. And everyone and your mother is beating the New York Jets right now. So, and then let's just bring up the standings. Let's just have some fun with that. NFC standings. So, the Giants, after that blown lead today in Denver, they're now 2-5, and so they're not out of it, but they're starting to get uncomfortably behind. Commanders 3-4, but if they're going to be losing Jaden Daniels again, that might not be. That's definitely not good, but I don't know if they're able to even just tread water with Marcus Mariota under quarterback if you ask him to handle that ship for another 2 to 3 weeks. Penix, he's got a back behind him. It's Bijan. He's going to hand it to Robinson. Robinson will find a way to get about 4 yards on the carry. And those are the dangerous runs because you know that there is a very good chance he just spurts right out the other side. He can change direction better than any player I think I've ever watched at any sport, at least where you're still on your feet or you're not on skates. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Penix brings London over. He's just going to hand this again to Robinson. He makes one man miss. Can't quite make the second man miss. Second man gets his full arms wrapped around Bijan Robinson. And that's going to hold Bijan to only 2 yards. And insane that was a 2-yard pickup with the moves he made. It really takes 2 to 3 men to get him down because the first touch is almost never going to get Bijan on the dirt. 3rd and 4. You got 3 receivers down to the bottom of the screen. Bijan now motion all the way out to the bottom of your screen. Penix, he's going to try to take off and run, but that is going to be a sack for the 49ers defense. So this promising drive, this long drive, is going to come to an end for Atlanta. And they're going to send out Parker Romo to try to salvage 3 points here. A lot of interior pressure, so it almost looked like there were gaps for Penix to run, but just as soon as he stepped into one of those gaps, he was immediately swallowed up by linebackers. 38 yards here on the left hash, Parker Romo, and that will be good. So that'll break the scoreless tie in this one. So that'll be 3-0 for Atlanta. Would have wanted to get more there, but at least you come away with something. Now we're back to commercial. I hope everyone's doing well. It's been a pretty good sports weekend. A lot of upsets in college football yesterday. A few more coach firings. I'll talk about that later this week when I do my kind of college football preview and everything. I probably will do a whole segment on the Florida coaching job. Though that's not the last high-profile job that's going to come open. Auburn's going to come open. I'm fairly certain about it. I think Florida State, after they lost to Stanford, after most everybody else went to sleep last night. And then you got to start looking. I mean, I mentioned it in my James Franklin video. I think Michigan State's going to come open. And I think there's some more jobs that, hey, I mean, you never know. There's always a possibility. And I really feel bad for Ole Miss fans. Not because of the game yesterday. I mean, that was a well-fought game, both sides. Neither team could stop a fly. But I think they're about to go through it yet again with Florida definitely being open. If Auburn comes open, it's just going to be another one of those. Lane Kiffin plays the market better than anybody else. He's going to tease on Twitter, and he's either going to get paid by Ole Miss or he's going to go somewhere else and get paid. Personally, I don't know if I'm Florida. I would even... The thing is, Florida has expectations, but they don't have the infrastructure in place for to be that like national powerhouse at the moment. Their NIL is woefully behind. Their facilities are woefully behind, and it's going to take a few years for Florida to get where they need to be competitive again. In terms of like SEC championship range, and in terms of national championship range. And I know that's not what Florida fans want to hear, but it's definitely something. Or at least consistently in that range. I think any team right now in the SEC has the ability to just pop off for 1 year because you just really hit in the transfer portal. So we will see. We're now back to kickoff here. And this kick will land for a touchback. So it'll be Niners ball on the 35. And this is the second time out for the Falcons defense, who just lost Divine Diablo. So they're showing him going into the locker room. That's a very big loss. You're already without Jalen Walker. Divine Diablo has been one of the most underrated players in football so far this year. Mac Jones under center. He's going to take a 5 or 6 step drop, and he's going to miss everybody. There were about 3 red jerseys and 5 white jerseys in the area, and he manages to hit green grass. So apparently George Kittle was the target on that play. You couldn't tell. And Jones was under pressure. They're showing it here. Caden Ellis, that is a linebacker. Just not a pass rusher by initial trade. Just manages to get through. Handoff now to CMC. And he's going to just keep his legs charting. And he'll pick up about 5. But that's still going to bring up third down here for the Niners. 12:35, 12:34, 12:33, 32, 31, 30 on the clock. And so McCaffrey just finds a way to avoid contact. But after that, I mean, he drags a solid 5 Atlanta defenders. 3rd and 3. Jones looks back. He's going to find a receiver in the open. Shoestring shackle. That'll be Jennings on the reception. That'll be a first down for the San Francisco 49ers. Jennings working against Mike Hughes. Or D. Alford, excuse me. But still, not one of the better corners. Now handoff to CMC. He's going to bounce this to the right side. He's going to pick up 5 before finally being taken down. 2nd down now for San Francisco. McCaffrey. He'll take the handoff again. He's going to find a hole. He'll bounce around, and he's got the first down and more. Well now into Falcons territory are the 49ers. McCaffrey getting his touches. He's going to go off now. They're going to bring in Brian Robinson. And just a simple pin and pull kind of play. McCaffrey runs behind the pulling, and then he bounces back outside, or back inside. And now the Niners are in business on the 25-yard line. And this is going to be to Brian Robinson. He doesn't have the same shifty power of McCaffrey, but he can run through you. He'll pick up about 2 or 3 on the play. We'll be ready for 2nd down and 7. McCaffrey still staying on the sideline. 2nd down and 8 is what we're calling it here. Robinson motioned to the left hip of Jones. Jones, 3-step drop, and that is going to be intercepted off of a dropped pass by Jennings. And that is Caden Ellis with the interception for the Falcons. Falcons just very opportune. And you don't make a catch, and it's contested. Suddenly, a nice 1-2 from Caden Ellis, and he will return that for about 15 yards. More importantly, that'll be a Falcons first down as soon as we come back. What a play there. Just taking advantage of a mistake by the 49ers. And that's going to bring up, that's 2 times now the 49ers have driven pretty deep into Falcons territory. And then the Falcons bend, don't break. And they're going to come away with no points. That's why I said before, Parker Romo, you shot yourself in the foot. You couldn't convert, but you still managed to get points. And so far, you've won these first 2 drives because you've gotten 3 points. Whenever you had a chance to, the 49ers not as lucky thanks to wonderful execution, taking advantage of that mistake. So Yes. We've got both Niners and Falcons fans in the chat, so it'll be a pretty interesting. Should be pretty fun. Grant, how about that 5 fab trade for the Browns defense? That's going to end up being the difference. Well, not the difference, but it's definitely the final nail in the coffin this week. I've seen this so far. Mac Jones looks terrified. Is anyone else getting that feeling? Like he just kind of looks like he is not all there. He's been hit 3 or 4 times already in this one, but still, a lot of quick throws because he's under immediate pressure. So let's see what the Falcons can do now. They're going to get this ball in pretty nice territory. Nice field position here. Yes, we get it. You surf in Northern California. But this is a long establishing shot. There we go. So Falcons are going to get this on their own 35-yard line. Penix brings London over. This is going to be a toss play to Bijan Robinson. He's going to cut it up, and he's going to be stopped. So good defense from the 49ers. Bijan had a steam, manages to actually corral that pitch from Penix. It was a little bit behind him, but nice pursuit. Just beat the pull blockers to the play. And right now, it feels like these defenses are stepping up. Penix has got Charlie Warner to his left. Now he's going to bring Bijan behind him. Penix looking over the middle. He's going to throw, and that is tipped, and there's going to be a late call for defensive pass interference. That's going to be a Lenore. He was defending Mooney on the play. I would like to see a replay on that because, oh, absolutely, just grabbing the arm and to make a play on the ball. Like, yes, he was going for the ball, but he still threw Mooney's arm back. I understand it. Maybe he just couldn't get the flag clear. It's okay. I like to see Kyle Shanahan sad. He deserves it more than anybody. Penix. He's got Bijan behind him, 2 receivers to the top. Kyle Pitts now at the bottom of the screen. London is going to go from the top to the bottom. Fake a handoff to Bijan. Penix looking to throw. Now he's going to just check it down to Bijan, and he is going to throw that away. Probably for the best. I mean, Bijan might have made something happen there, but it's not worth getting your star player hit. So 2nd down and 10. Yeah, Jake Matthews was always going to start this game. Longest active starting streak in the NFL. Bring Casey Washington in motion. Penix, he's going to scramble out now, and he's just going to take off and run. He'll get 2 before he goes, and he's going to slip on the tarp. Definitely not a late hit, but just a slip. Penix springs right back up, so he's okay. And that's the difference. Jake Matthews, he was a blindside tackle for years. One of the most underrated linemen in the game. And he's playing in basically a modified ankle boot tonight. Penix. He's got Bijan to his left. He's going to bring Mooney over in formation. There's a free rusher. Penix chunks it down the field. I don't know if he expected Mooney to come back for the ball. Either way, that will bring up fourth down. So just an interesting series there for Atlanta. San Francisco bringing a lot of pressure, and Penix missing his throws. They said, I don't know if that was for Mooney, who was maybe supposed to cut back, or if he expected, or if that was maybe a ball for London that was just way overthrown. Who knows? Either way, the punting unit's on, and this kick will bounce into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. So it'll be San Francisco ball. Falcons still lead 3-0. And we've got more surfing establishing shots here as we're about to go to yet another commercial break. So both defenses right now playing as advertised. I honestly think San Francisco has outplayed Atlanta so far in this one, but that doesn't matter. Because right now the scoreboard reads 3-0. So yeah, how you feeling at home? This is going to be a pretty quick game. I feel like you're going to get more commercials than football here because, let's be honest, both of these teams are classic, let's run the ball, short passes for the most part. Not a lot of incompletions when the offenses run effectively. Needing the turnover. I would like to hit Mac or Jones again. I would like a sack. He seems kind of rattled. The ball's all over the place. Penix, obviously last drive also seemed a bit rattled. So we'll see. So we're back into this one. We're showing Brock Purdy's turf toe. Have you ever had turf toe? Because I feel like you've talked about that, Grant. Purdy, he's going to pitch this to McCaffrey, who's going to get about 13 yards and change before finally being brought down by a member of the Atlanta defense. Mike Tirico, Colin Collinsworth, just absolutely. Honestly, I think this is the first time I'm ever noticing Mike Tirico has a very interesting shaped head. Jones, he's going to hand it off McCaffrey, off tackle here. He's going to burst ahead for another 7 yards. So already 73 yards rushing for the Niners here. If I'm them, I'm not throwing the ball. Ring use check in motion. And now McCaffrey finds a hole, finds more. He's going to bowl over Jesse Bates at the 50-yard line, and he'll finally be brought to a stop. Right now, just some interesting running concepts, and they are working. So multiple tight ends, use check, very tight formation here for the Niners. Brian Robinson in the game now. He'll get the handoff, and he is met by a defensive tackle. That is Onyemata who gets the play, or who gets the tackle there. That'll be a loss of about a half a yard. So that's what it's going to come down to. If you can stop, and now there's an injury to a lineman for the 49ers, but that's what it's going to come down to for the Falcons. If you could stop Brian Robinson from getting the ball, or from gashing you like that, you force it to be Christian McCaffrey, or for Mac Jones to throw the ball. I mean, Christian McCaffrey can't be out there every play. He doesn't have the stamina. So, might be an ugly way to win, but you can, if it works, it works. Very important matchup now for the Falcons. I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but just the NFC right now is a bloodbath. Right now, Minnesota is last in the NFC North, and they are a 3-3 football team. They trail the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears, all at 4 wins. Lions play tomorrow, and they'll have an opportunity to jump back up to first place. In the NFC South, Panthers 4-3 and third in the division. Saints 1-6. They are firmly out of it. They're more competing for the first overall pick. Buccaneers, they're the class of the conference and the league so far, 5-1, but they will play the Detroit Lions tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. And for Falcons fans, that is a game worth watching, assuming the Falcons pull off a victory here tonight and can move to 4-2 on the season. In the West, the Cardinals now 2-5. They've lost their last 5 straight, and you have to imagine Jonathan Gannon starting to feel the pressure in Phoenix. Seattle and San Francisco both at 4-2. San Francisco obviously playing here tonight, and the Rams picked up a win today in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they'll be 5-2. So yeah, really only 3 teams out of it so far in the NFC, and the Giants are a team that can reach up and bite you at any time. So they're not a pushover by any means. And the Saints have played better than their record, so we'll see. Colts Lions Super Bowl. I mean, I could see it. I would be very interested to just see what that would even look like. But definitely a possibility, probably pretty firm early in the season. Mac Jones, he's going to take a 5-step drop. He's going to find Jennings along the sideline. That'll be a gain of about 6 or 7. Should bring up about 3rd and 3 here for the Niners. So 3rd and 4. Once again, kind of in no man's land offensively. Mac Jones, he's in the shotgun again. He's got McCaffrey to his right. He's going to motion Kittle. Handoff to CMC. He's going to bounce this back outside. He's got running room. And that will be a 1st down for the Niners. Oh, darn it. I thought that was a new fan. Unfortunate. It's okay. You came to talk under a different account. We know what it is. Normally pretty solid in run D, but there was some stuff in last game. James Cook ate us up more than anybody did last week. And it seems like those issues might not have been fixed. This time, Christian McCaffrey, he's going to be brought down after a gain of about 3. The hole was open there, so, I mean, just run through it and get your yards. No need to bounce around. Part of it, though, is McCaffrey, I mean, is so hard. He's like Bijan. He's so hard to fully stop because he's going to find open lanes. You can gap fit as well as you want to. He's going to sometimes just bounce it outside and score. Jones under center. This is handed off to Robinson. He'll be met after a gain of about 4. This will be 2nd and 3. Ball now on the Falcons 27. Obviously, this is George Kittle's return game after he's been out for the last 5 or 6 games. And that last camera shot really makes him look like a crazy person. Kittle brought over in the formation. Jones, he's going to throw this. Little bit of pressure, and he'll find Jennings good for a first down. That was Terrell in coverage, and Terrell just gets outrun. And now San Francisco has 1st and 10 in the Falcons' red zone. 3:04 left to play. And this is a big moment because San Francisco will get the ball at half. So if the Falcons want to preserve the lead, this is going to be a handoff or a toss to McCaffrey, and he is going to be met 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He may just to fall forward for a few more, but that's going to be Leonard Floyd, the first Falcon there. Absolutely read it. Well, just first Falcon there, forces him out wide, and then multiple white jerseys around Christian McCaffrey. Leonard Floyd, he's been really good so far for this Atlanta defense. Mac Jones, he'll pass this. He's going to throw. He finds Kyle Juszczyk for about 6 or 7, maybe 8 yards on the play. And this will bring up 3rd down. And we'll be at the 2-minute warning. So very, very, not a lot of possessions in this game. Long possessions, and just both of these defenses not giving up huge chunk plays. Yeah, over betters. I was going to say this game, if you saw chunk plays, it was going to be from the running backs. And right now, like, they're getting their yards, but they're not torching the defenses by any means. Take a look around the NFL scoreboard today. Cowboys managed to beat the Commanders 44-22. That's in Dallas. Packers beat the Cards 27-3. Broncos had a wild comeback against the New York Giants. They're going to win that one 33-32 over Jackson Dart and Cam Scatabo. Chargers, they're going to fall at home to the Indianapolis Colts, who are absolutely rolling right along right now. The Chiefs seem to have their swagger back, 31-0 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson's group has been playing better down the stretch, and they'll get a pretty comfortable win over the New Orleans Saints, 26-14. Browns in a game that was played in a monsoon and insane wind conditions, 31-6 over the Miami Dolphins. And I would not doubt if we get the headline tomorrow that Mike McDaniel has been fired. Panthers outlast the New York Jets 13-6 in an ugly one. Patriots absolutely dismantled the Titans in Vrabel's revenge game. Eagles defeat the Vikings 28-22 this morning in a game of NFC contenders. Rams killed the Jaguars in London this morning. And, of course, Thursday Night Football, Bengals beat the Steelers. 3rd and 4, Jones looking to pass. He's now flushed out to his left. He's got K. Ellis in his face, but he's going to find Christian McCaffrey, and that'll be good for a first down. That'll put the Niners down at the 1-yard line. Mac Jones just creating time for himself. And Falcons just chose not to bring pressure on that play. And then once he got flushed out, then they brought the pressure. That created the gap for McCaffrey to get open. And now it'll be up to the Falcons to try to pitch a goal line stand here against one of the best running backs in the league. Timeout taken there by the Falcons, so we'll just deduct that from them. Mac Jones under center. Juszczyk in front of McCaffrey. McCaffrey gets it, and that is a touchdown for the Niners. And so they'll take the lead now with only around a minute and a half left on the clock here in the first half. And just an easy gap for CMC to run through. And that'll be easy for McCaffrey. Pinheiro back to kick. And that is going to ricochet right off the upright and in. Selfishly, I mean, as a Falcons fan, after what he said about Atlanta, it would be hilarious to watch him miss over and over again against the Falcons. But now we're going to see Penix get the ball back. Kittle, I assume, is probably a big reason why. Kittle is such a good run blocker. And so having him back is a big advantage. Take a look at my Dynasty League matchup. Right now trailing 80-97. Opponent is locked in at 97.96. Need to get up to that one, and all I have left is tomorrow is Cooper Kupp. And that's in the second Monday night game against a good against a good Houston defense. So we'll see. There's going to be some time on the clock. Falcons ran a good 2-minute drill to close out the half last week. So we'll see if they have any of that magic left in them. Definitely need to do something, though, with San Francisco getting ball at half. Oh, I know. I know it's you and me. I've completely turned my fortune around in my regular league, but Dynasty is something else. But don't you love that you have both of our picks? because my team just decided to not perform. To kick off here, it'll be fielded in the landing zone. Agnew, he's going to take it up to the 30B, and he will be stopped. So 1:42 left to play with here in the second quarter. Falcons have all the weapons they do. Offense has had plenty of time to try to make an adjustment. See if Penix can get back on track. Penix in the shotgun. He's going to send Pitts in motion. Now he's going to find Pitts for about 5 yards. Pitts will step out of bounds, and that'll bring up 2nd and 5. Only 5 seconds off the clock, and the clock will stop. Almost a little bit surprised you haven't seen Bijan Robinson split out wide in the passing game so far. Penix, he's scanning the field. Now he's going to find Kyle Pitts again. He'll step out of bounds, and he's thrown down to the ground. That seemed a little bit late. No flag. So probably already going down in bounds. Referee had a good look at it. So Falcons already on the 46-yard line. Only have lost 12 seconds so far. Still have both timeouts. Penix in the shotgun. To his left is Robinson. Now he's going to bring Mooney over. Penix is sacked and he loses the football. And the Niners say they have it, and they do. That was an absolute disaster. Penix never saw the blitzing lineman and got hit right in the throwing arm. Lost the football. And it's going to be Niners ball in Falcons territory. Huff just absolutely beats his man. That's Wilkinson. And Penix sees him last second, and the ball is out as soon as he's hit. So an opportunity here for San Francisco to really blow this game wide open. It is weird. Like, watching this game in total silence, very odd. So Jones, he'll send McCaffrey out in motion. He takes a step back. He'll find his receiver. That is Bourne on the catch. 118, 117, 116 to go. So an offensive line, that's Brindle out for the 49ers. So just another injury for that San Francisco team. Mac Jones, he'll take it. He's going to dump it off to McCaffrey. And a good play by a Falcons. And that is Onyemata getting his big paw on the screen to avoid Christian McCaffrey getting some running room. 3rd and 6. So the Falcons can hold here. But right now, the Niners are 5 for 6 on third down. Mac Jones gets the snap and shotgun. He's going to be sacked. The ball is on the ground. That is going to be picked up by an offensive lineman. Now we're going to have to see if that was an incomplete pass or a fumble. Either way, it shouldn't be able to be advanced by a player that was not Mac Jones because it's within the 2-minute warning. So the 2-minute warning. So you should be able to advance it unless you were the player who fumbled. So that's what I guess we're looking at right now. And just an absolute wonderful rush there from Leonard Floyd, the former 49er. And that's going to bring up fourth down, and we're looking to see. One, I'm assuming if that is a official fumble or a pass, or if that was a play, if you could even return that fumble forward as the offensive lineman, since he was not the player who fumbled. Yeah, this game's stupid because I don't think either of these teams can actually pass the ball against each other. The defenses are too strong. But the Falcons, on the other hand, are not even attempting to run the ball because they just decide to want to get away from that sometimes. It's frustrating. Yeah, 13-10 might be generous. And have I just had the touchdown thing up the entire time? Did I just forget to take it down? Yeah, I did. That's on me. I hate players like it's so frustrating to play against someone like a Mac Jones or a Bryce Young because they'll just sit there and they'll just do quick pass. They'll quick pass you to death, and it's so infuriating. So they're going to call that an. All right, so we're just going to bring out Eddie Pinheiro a down early? Or are we going to call that, or is that an illegal play and loss of down? All right. So 55-yard field goal attempt here for Eddie Pinheiro. After publicly coming out and saying that he wanted to go to the Niners instead of the Falcons because he could win with the Niners. And he hits it from 55. And he is pumped up. His teammates are pumped up. So Pinheiro so far having a good game. Hit an extra point and hit a long field goal for the Niners. And he has his team up 10-3. Yeah, and just good snap, good hold. No, we know he hasn't missed a field goal yet. It's an interesting hate watch as a Falcons fan. Because he comes out and says all that about, oh, I could have gone to Atlanta, but I didn't want to go to Atlanta. What in the world was that? And now he's going to return it, and he's going to get lit up. He muffed the original kickoff. That was Agnew. Falcons have 32 seconds. I think they should probably just kneel it and get to the locker room. But they will not. Penix lined up in the shotgun. He's got Bijan to his right. And that looked like a false start. No call. Penix finds Drake London at the 41. He'll get out of bounds. 27 seconds on the clock. Falcons desperately trying to get in range of Parker Romo. They have one timeout. You got to think that's just to use so they can get the ball downfield and call a timeout and get the field goal unit out there. Penix has time. Looking, throws. That's Darnell Mooney who comes up with the catch and more, but he doesn't get out of bounds. So the clock is ticking. 16, 15. Doesn't give the ball to the official. There's no urgency here. And the Atlanta's forced to take their timeout. But what a play. What a catch by Darnell Mooney. But it might have been best there if he had just gone out of bounds rather than trying to get 3 or 4 more yards. Because he cuts back and he gets 5 yards out of that, but he wastes a whole lot of time. And time is more valuable than yardage at this point. So 17 seconds left. Falcons now without a timeout. Anything in bounds, they'll have to hurry to the line and get it spiked. Falcons now, though, at the 22-yard line. Remember last week what happened with Drake London? They ran out of time. Penix has time, is looking. Now he's scrambling for his life. He's going to throw this into the crowd. 10 seconds left. I think you might just take a shot to the end zone. And if that doesn't work out, bring on the field goal unit. What's the flag? Could be intentional grounding. If that happens, that comes with a 10-second runoff. Falcons are out of timeouts. So that would be the end of the half if that's intentional grounding. I thought Penix was well outside the pocket and he got the ball clear of the line of scrimmage. But yeah, that's intentional grounding. And that is going to be, that's the end of the first half. So the Falcons waste an opportunity coming into the locker room for the second week in a row. They're going to say Penix takes off here, and he's not clear of the tackle box. So that's just a stupid mistake that the Falcons have made, and that's going to cost them at least 3 points. And in a game as close as this one, that might come up huge. My goodness. This is one of the games of all time. That is 100% like modern falconing at its finest. What an insanely stupid half of football that was just played. Both teams need to make adjustments. Falcons definitely more so. But I don't know. I don't know if there's such an easy solution for stopping the run game for the Niners. You've bottled up the passing game pretty well, all things considered. I am taking this time while there are no concurrent viewers to really just eat my dinner now that it's cold. Jays Mariners going 7. Well, I just dropped my fork. So now is as good of time as any to go get a new fork, get a drink. Real quick. Let me look up the score. Blue Jays. Pull that up on a separate tab. Yeah, up 5-0. So get a new fork. Some of the RFK special. And see what in the world we can have happen. Falcons always look like a different team, depending. They've looked like several different teams so far this year. Just watching back what happened at the end of this Giants Broncos game. Insanity. It's starting to feel like one of those years for Denver. But yeah, Dart is an absolute problem for somebody. And to think, some people thought that was a stupid decision at the time. Yeah, I like Dart a lot. I liked him back when he was in college because he was just the guy that went out there and said, "Yeah, I play quarterback, but I'm going to go out there and hit somebody too." And he had the athleticism and the toughness to go do it. Bo Nix really seems to be taking to this new system. He's refreshed. He's energized. Wouldn't be surprised if he's a dark horse candidate for the Heisman. Take a look at my fantasy team. I'm not as worried about losing the actual matchup or whatever happens in the actual matchup. I'm now more worried about can I get to the median? Because I was relying pretty heavily on a Drake London game because I have London and Laporta left. So we will see. If the Cowboys had a defense, they would be an absolute problem. I'm happy for Vrabel. He never deserved to lose his job in Tennessee. And now they're paying for it. Fun. Sunday Night Football next week. Why do we have these pictures? So we got Micah Parsons has his pads on, and then Aaron Rodgers is just standing there. He's just standing there like, Mom, I threw up, which, depending on how much, substances he had, he may have. Who knows? But he definitely wouldn't be telling that to his mom because, he hates his whole family. I'm glad we have Olympic advertisement now. I am so excited for the Winter Olympics. I am a Winter Olympics guy. I probably stream some of the Team USA hockey. Yeah, CD and Pickens together, which that room, the personalities in that Dallas receiving room are an absolute powder keg, but they are so talented. Look, he's Jerry Jones. He's Jerry Jones. He would absolutely. He's going to do whatever he thinks is best for his team, and what he thinks is obviously the thing that's best for his team. And who knows what those picks they got in the draft could have turned into. They could have even turned into Micah Parsons. You got to look at it that way. You may, those players could be really good. They might even be Micah Parsons. Who knows? I made a whole graphic now for Penix and London, and they've only had one reception, I feel like, in this game. I've got to release my I got to put them on TikTok. I did my college football top 25 rankings. I try to have those out every night, Sunday night. Which was like, what are you going to prove? Last week I had BYU, I think 7th. And I was like, well, hopefully nothing, because I don't genuinely think that they should be there either. I don't think they're that good, but I mean, they've won. They're undefeated and they've beat decent teams. Like, they've got to be up there, and now they have to be 5th, and that absolutely frustrates me to no end. Falcons just left a lot of have left a lot to be desired so far. Both teams have left points on the board, so coming back in third quarter on the board now. I love the Holy War, though. I mean, the Holy War is such a fun rivalry. Yeah, there's been no possessions in this game. Kickoff, and this is going to be taken. He's got running room. If he wasn't tripped up, that could have been really bad for Atlanta. But still, very good field position here for the 49ers. Use check brought in motion, handed to McCaffrey. McCaffrey, and he's going to be stood up. By a Falcons defender. Never got a really good look at the numbers. And we're back now with Tarico and his weird shaped head. Actually, it's not weird shaped. I think it's just catching somehow the green screen's clipping him weird, like right there. Anyways, back to football. Jones, he'll bring use check, fakes the toss to Brian Robinson, and Jones is under pressure. He's going to get out of it, fakes the handoff, and then he's going to throw it. That cleared the line of scrimmage, but... And now we're showing what happened at the end of last week. And then Penix, it just didn't clear the line of scrimmage. I thought it did. But he was a step away from it being fine, and he was a few yards from it away from being fine. Either way, it takes 3 points off the board. 3rd and 9, Jones. And he'll find Tonjes. I believe that's Tonjes. Who was that? Bourne. Okay. I don't know why I confused Bourne and Tonjes. I don't know. Mac Jones just stands and delivers, and right now the Falcons are getting exposed through the air slightly. Jones under center, McCaffrey about 6 yards behind him. Fakes the handoff to CMC, and now will dump off to a receiver. He breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackle, and he will scamper for a first down. That's more. And right now, Atlanta thought they were about to maybe get off the field. And suddenly, they're playing off ball, but no one can make a tackle. McCaffrey now, or excuse me, Jones now handed off to McCaffrey. This is up the middle, and he'll get about 5 yards before he is shoved back. That's Watts and Ellis on the stop, but that'll be about 2nd and 5. And the way that the possessions are going, how long the possessions are, so few of them, 14-point lead feels maybe not insurmountable, but it feels bigger than a normal 14-point lead. Jones in shotgun, McCaffrey to his left. Hands it off to CMC. He'll drag forward for about another 2 yards. 3rd down and maybe 4 here. And you could do pretty much anything if you're San Francisco. You have the ability to throw. You have the ability to rush and pick up this first down. It would be huge for the Atlanta defense if they could get a stop here and get off the field. Or a bit of no man's land, though. So this may be 2-down territory. Handed to McCaffrey, and he finds a hole, makes the first man miss, and he's finally dragged down by Xavier Watts from behind, but not before picking up the first down. And these are the the offenses you absolutely hate to be playing against. Not because they're good. Like, there's some teams that have good offenses. They're like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it's just these death by 1,000 cuts type of teams. Brian Robinson now in Jones under center. And he is going to fake it, and it's going to be a screenplay to Kittle, and he's not able to bring that one in. If he was about to get popped there by a white jersey. I think that would have been Caden Ellis. So 2nd and 10. And this is something. The Falcons have, for the most part, limited Brian Robinson. It's just McCaffrey. Jones, he'll hand off to Robinson. He tries to cut back, but he runs square into that's Onyemata, excuse me. And now 3rd down and about 11 here, and Christian McCaffrey will head back into the game. This is where Atlanta has struggled to get off the field. Niners well in field goal position now. In field goal range. So, from the 25, 3rd and 11. McCaffrey to the right of Jones. Jones, there's pressure. He'll get this pass off. That'll be to Jennings. And they're going to say he did not get his feet down in bounds. He would have been short anyways, but it would have made an interesting conversation. Yeah, definitely. He got neither foot down in bounds. Hughes was beat on the play. And he still managed to be in position to say, hey, no, he didn't get his feet down. So here comes Pinheiro. This is 43 yards. And that ball is struck well right through the uprights. So that'll give the Niners a 2-possession lead, thanks to the Falcons unable to capitalize at the end of the first half. And giving the Niners an extra possession at the end of the first half. So the Niners now 13 points unanswered on Atlanta. So 13-3 now. A touchdown gets you right back in it if you're Atlanta. But Atlanta really has not been able to move the ball outside of that 2-minute drive where they gave up points because of the intentional grounding. And then the second drive where they went kind of right down the throat of the 49ers and shot themselves in the foot to push themselves backwards. And we've got ChatGPT's ad here. It's interestingly just to look back on the things that are advertising at any given time in American media. Like, I'd love to go back in 5 years ago and compare, like, what your average commercial, like, length and all that, but mostly subject matter and the company paying for it, was for a Sunday night football game in 2020 or 2015 versus now, and just really see how that's changed. Right now, that they're showing Bijan Robinson, I cannot speak. Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, their football journeys so far. And right now, Christian McCaffrey having the better night over Bijan Robinson. The Falcons have not had much of an answer for CMC. Also, these uniforms, why don't you wear these uniforms like all the time? These and the white ones that are the similar breed are just significantly better. Agnew, he's got running room and he is going to take off. He's not going to be tackled until deep into 49ers territory. Well, not deep, but into 49ers territory. And the Falcons will take over. So that is the spark that Atlanta needed. But right now, they're showing, Penix just, with only rushing 3 or 4, has just not been able to read this defense. This is a Saleh-led defense back to the prime of the 49ers. Since Charlie Warner in motion, it's a counter play. Bijan Robinson, he's got a blocker. San Francisco sniffs that out pretty well, but not before Bijan manages to gain about 7 yards on the play. Second and 4. Penix, he's got Bijan behind him. 2 tight ends and Pitts and Warner with Mooney and London. Hands it off to Robinson. He's met 2 line yards after the line of scrimmage. So it'll be about 3rd and 2. Bethune made the play for San Francisco. Just stood Bijan up in the gap whenever he just read it well. There's no misdirection on that play. Charlie Warner, he's just supposed to find a guy to the inside there. And double blocks a guy, doesn't get Bethune. Penix in the shotgun. Algier in the backfield. Hand it off to Algier. He's going to try to find the edge, and he will He'll get just enough, falls forward probably about 4 yards after the line to gain. So that'll be a Falcons first down. All right, so back to football. First and 10 from the 35-yard line. Penix, he'll bring Pitts in motion. Fakes the screen to Bijan, finds Pitts up the seam. A nice fake screen wheel play there. That'll be a first down, and the Falcons offense is in business. So if you're going to key on Bijan, you're going to get burnt by some of the other weapons the Falcons have. And a good pass there from Penix, but it's enough air underneath it. Pitts, it feels like, has been his go-to target here tonight. Brings Robinson in motion, and now back out. He will find Bijan. Good blocking. Bijan manages to nearly break a tackle. Mustafa does wrangle number 7 to the ground, though. So that's a potentially touchdown-saving tackle from Mustafa. Either way, it'll be 2nd and 2 here. So now you're starting to see Zach Robinson get a little bit more creative with his play calling. Cool, you want to key on Bijan? We can do other things. We can do creative things with our running back. Bijan lined up at running back depth, outside receiver. Here comes Pitts across the formation. A screen, Bijan. Bijan manages to break another tackle, and it's in for a touchdown! Bijan Robinson. And that's the first touchdown for Atlanta tonight, and it could not have come at a better time. And that's what it's saying. If you get the ball to Bijan in space, he is going to make at least the first man miss. Sheds the tackle from 47, and then by the time another hand is laid on him, he's already at the goal line. So Bijan Robinson gets his first touchdown on the night. Parker Romo, the kick is up, and it is good. So that'll make it 13-10. So the Falcons stop the bleeding after those 13 points unanswered to end and start the end of the first half and start of the second half. And it all got started thanks to a nice kick return. It really is all about, you have to just, when you get Bijan in space, it is, you have to make them think, just hesitate for about a half a second, maybe a little bit less, that this ball may not go to Bijan if you throw it to London off of it or Pitts off of it. And that little bit of hesitation is going to give Bijan all the time he needs. Doesn't matter how many people you're bringing. If he's got a head of steam, he's going to be able to just make you miss because he is so shifty. He's fast in a hurry. Now let's see if the defense has made any changes. That was a good drive to get Penix settled in, though. Just a lot of quick passes, dump offs. Yeah, Bijan in space is so hard to tackle, though. I'm actually a little bit. So they did this a bit last week because Mooney was not on the field because Mooney was out, but they would have Robinson, Algier on the same field together. And you see in a bit tonight, they're keeping the the tight end in the backfield. It's typically Charlie Warner. I haven't seen them do it with Felipe Franks yet, which I think the only reason they did that with Felipe Franks is so they could do the hard count, um, the sneak, and then the hard count with him later. So we will see. Question: I need to look at the stats of this. Is Darnell Washington a free agent after this year? Because like obviously he was a 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick, so he's not eligible for the 5th option. So does he have another year or? Because I think he would fit really well in with the Falcons offense. He's such a good blocker, but he could also, I think he could do what Charlie Warner does, but better. Kickoff now. And he is going to be absolutely clotheslined by an Atlanta defender. Yeah, when Kittle's off the field, there's just nothing. But when Kittle's on the field, it pretty much comes to the fact of when Kittle's on the field, you might as well just stack the box because you kind of know what's coming. Possession, arrow back to San Francisco. There we go. Jones under center. Hands it to McCaffrey, left side. McCaffrey breaks a few tackles, but he's contained by a wall of white jerseys after a gain of 2. Mostly I'm just a Georgia fan. I really like Darnell Washington, and I've been very upset at the way the Steelers have used him since he's been drafted there because he's so athletic. He is so fantastic at just, if he gets the ball in space, he's so big, it's so hard to deal with. But he can also block. Jones out of the shotgun. He's going to check this down to McCaffrey. McCaffrey makes the first man miss, and he's just going to go, and he'll get the first down. Actually, they're going to say he stepped out about a yard beforehand. So that's going to be 3rd and 1. McCaffrey right now staying on the sideline. Just lowered the shoulder, and yes, he did step out before. So 3rd and 1. Jones hands it to Juszczyk, stood up, and the defense rallies. They'll stop the fullback, and it's going to be 4th down. I don't understand that play call. Shannon, that you have Christian McCaffrey, and I understand that like you want to get the ball. He's normally a guy you want to get the ball in space to, and it may not have even mattered. I mean, Onyemata, the whole defense just absolutely bowed the offensive line backwards there, but all right. Punt is away. This is going to be caught and returned. A nice little return to about the 34-yard line, excuse me. Agnew there. So it's going to be Falcons ball with a chance to take the lead. It's 13-10 at the moment. See which Falcons offense comes out to play when we come back from yet another commercial break. We'll see. I mean, this is a Shanahan. I remember, I don't know if it's a Shanahan thing or if it's just a big game thing for him, where he struggles to necessarily make the correct adjustments at halftime. So, yeah. We're in an interesting kind of inflection point for this game. I'm going to run off real quick. I want to get me another drink. And I'm going to throw this away. Very scrimmage yards per game. He's on pace. Bijan Robinson currently lined up at the bottom of the screen. He's going to be brought over. This is going to be a fake jet sweep to him. Penix running to his left. He's going to throw, and he will miss Darnell Mooney. Seemed like that went right between Mooney's hands. And there's a flag. This could be OPI because suddenly there was just a cornerback on the ground for San Francisco. Also a possibility it's holding with Penix on the bootleg rolling out. Or no, it's an ineligible man downfield yet again for Atlanta. This time it's Matthew Bergeron. So that's twice tonight. Penix, he's going to bring Warner over. And this is a handoff to Bijan Robinson. He cuts to the left and then cuts up. He'll get about 2 on the play. They'll bring up second down and 13 for the Falcons. Less than 4 minutes to go already in the second quarter, or the third quarter. So we are moving right along. So far, you score 13-10, San Francisco. Atlanta opened up the scoring on their second drive with a field goal. Then San Francisco to close the half and to start it, 13 unanswered points. And Atlanta, last time out, scored a touchdown. Penix has got Warner to his right. He throws and just missed Bijan Robinson. We've seen Penix do this at times where he completely forgets how to throw the football short. But, yeah, I don't understand. If that was not within 3 yards, that absolutely should have been DPI. Because Bijan just never was able to even get his head around. Either way, 3rd and 13. Bijan in the backfield with Penix. He's going to bring London over. And he will rip it down the middle. And that is Casey Washington with the reception. And the Falcons are going to line up quickly to try to get this snap off, but I don't even think they need to. That should be a catch. It looked weird, but it never hit the ground. So that should be a first down for Atlanta. Penix in the shotgun, Bijan behind him. Pitts brought across the formation. And now they're going to throw to Pitts. The Pass is low. They're going to call this actually incomplete. The Pitts had to trap it against the ground. Penix right now just complete kind of low. I don't know. That's an interesting one because it wasn't. Definitely hit the ground, but it felt like kind of just popped back up. But we'll see. Warner to his left for Penix here. Penix finds Drake London. That's 9-5, and that'll get close to the first down. Either way, I haven't had a chance to use it tonight. So here we go. There we go, baby. 9-5. Good throw from Penix. And London with the one-handed catch. He'll extend it across. And they're going to give them the first down. Bijan motion now behind Penix. Hand off to Bijan. Bijan makes the first defender miss. He'll be thrown down after about 2 yards. Penix is incredibly violent with his throwing motion. It's just about consistency. He actually feels like he throws a better ball deep than he throws that. But, I mean, he's missed some easy, obvious balls tonight, but he's still 17 for 25. Penix, under pressure, Penix is just going to barely get rid of that football. And are they going to say intentional grounding on this one? Because he definitely was not outside the tackle box, and that ball bounced before it hit the line, got to the line of scrimmage. I didn't see a receiver in the area. But yeah, cornerback blitz coming. So just overload the left tackle. Okay, yes. London was in the area, so non-intentional grounding. 3rd and 9. From the 42, Mooney crosses the formation, and they just get the ball off before the play clock. Actually, they whistle it dead, so they are going to get this for delay of game on the Falcons. You saw Mooney, as he crossed the formation, kind of went, hey, snap the ball. It either should have been delay of game or he shouldn't have whistled it dead. Yeah, okay, so delay game. I do not like the fact, though, and I think Raheem is arguing this point of you should have blown it dead before the play got started. It definitely is delay a game, but the rule is you have to look, and you're supposed to look at the ball to see if it's snapped and then look at the play clock. And if it's at 0 and the ball is not snapped, then you throw the flag. Either way, 3rd and 14 here. Bijan to the left of Penix. London goes in motion. Penix throws, and that ball is low to Casey Washington. But they're going to call this, it seems like they're going to call this a catch on the play. Okay, now we're saying no. So we have an incomplete pass call. I think that is the correct decision. And so that'll bring out the punt unit. You had an opportunity there to really carry some momentum through, but you're going to give the ball back to this 49ers offense. Punt is away. And this is going to bounce right at the 10-yard line, and it'll be downed at about the 3. You actually could have gotten a little bit more room there, but anyways, you will take it whenever you can pin the opposing offense in their own 5-yard line. And that's Hodge. Daryl Hodge with the great special teams play. They're going to go to a commercial. I'm going to stay right here because I don't have anywhere else to go. So you're stuck with me. Check in on the ALCS game. 6-2 now after 7. Take a look. Who is pitching? Look, just pull this up Gamecast on another window. Just to take a look. Okay, so Hoffman in for the Jays. Cal Raleigh in for Seattle. Top of the 8th. Yeah, I made the dolly graphic, and I didn't even get to use it until then, and that's why I didn't eat dinner before I streamed. Is because I was trying really hard to cut the video because I had forgot. I had that graphic to do all week, and I have just been busy. And I was like, oh shoot, I need to make more than a thumbnail. I wanted to make that graphic, and I just completely forgot about it until last minute, so I had to do it. But yeah. We are back. Handoff to McCaffrey up the middle. He'll be stopped after about a gain of 4 on the play. That was very interesting, just the timing of getting back from commercial to the handoff. And then obviously showing the great play by Daryl Hodge and the great punt by Bradley Pinion. So 2nd down and 6. Use check. Motion across the formation. Mac Jones looking to pass. He's going to find McCaffrey. And McCaffrey's going to fall forward. Bit of a dangerous throw. Caden Ellis was in the area, but it's going to bring up a 1st and 10 for San Francisco. And that'll be it for the 3rd quarter in this game. So on to the 4th quarter we go. Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I put a lot. It didn't take long to make or to find the clip or anything. I just had to, which there's really not any clips. So if I didn't want to use that one, I was going to be kind of out of luck. Eventually, I'm going to just see if I can animate it. That kind of clip with their celebrations and like splice them together. So it's 9 to 5, and I'm not using NFL footage. Or have Penix and London be backup dancers for Dolly Parton and do 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. But yeah, that's how the hands of the clock work. So I hope to have out this week. I try not to talk about the Falcons during the middle of the week. But for the most part, I'll do my college football like preview, like long form. I'm going to actually try to get chopped up into short form content this week to put on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. That takes a long time though, so it's not as stacked of a week in terms of college football next week as it was this week. Like I cut out several matchups that I thought could be interesting. I cut out the Oklahoma South Carolina matchup from there. I cut out the A&M Arkansas and the Arizona State Texas Tech because I was just like, those games might be fun, but I don't have the time because of last week's incredible how many just insane matchups there were last week. We're going into week 9. So we'll get that in a second. Jones, under center, fakes to McCaffrey. He's going to throw now to Christian. And Christian McCaffrey is going to easily run for the first down and about 3 yards more. South Florida, Memphis, that is now a do or die game for both teams. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, that'll be a fun, interesting matchup. UCLA, with their brand new coaching staff, goes to Indiana. Syracuse and Georgia Tech, Alabama, South Carolina, BYU, Iowa State, Missouri, Vanderbilt. Those are some of the more interesting games next week. Jones, handoff to McCaffrey. McCaffrey is bottled up, but he does gain 2 yards on the play. So now McCaffrey's going to check out. And we're showing all the old Alabama footage of Mac Jones when he was there with Tua and Jalen Hurts. Mac under center. Falcons bring pressure. He's going to dump this off to Jennings. Jennings fumbles it, but he's going to fumble this out of bounds. So the big break there for San Francisco. Kittle and Brian Robinson just bashing heads there in the huddle. Yeah, it's all underneath. Just there's nothing deep there, but Jones looking to throw. He's probably just going to check. Now he's going to take a deep shot, and that is incomplete. No laundry on the field. I think you could have called it for either of them. But the Falcons managed to come up big and get a stop on third down. That is Hughes. He gets there a little bit early. The hand is on the side where the ref cannot see it. Either way, that should have absolutely been a catch. That hits you. That is like fielding a punt. Like you're catching it like this, and it just right in between hits you in the chest and goes down. So punting unit is on. It's a good punt. Fielded at the 12. Agnew manages to get about 4 before he is wrapped up by Neal. By Turner, it actually looks like. Excuse me there. But, yeah, let's see if the Falcons can do anything here. You did say 13-10 earlier, so I thought the shove from the Niners there probably kind of balanced out the grab there from Hughes. So like I like the no call because I thought there was a little bit of fighting on either side, but that's a catch you have to make. You got one-on-one coverage with the worst corner that the Falcons have out there. And gotta find a way to make a catch. The thing is, though, this is a Shanahan coach 49ers team against the Falcons. So, I mean, this is basically inherently, at the end of the day, who wants to win this game the least. But yeah. So Bijan's going to start this series on the sideline. So that's Algier behind Penix, starting from the 17-yard line. London goes in motion. Now back to his original starting spot. Penix now brings Mooney in motion. Hand off to Algier. That's up the middle. He's got a little bit of running room, and that'll be a gain of about 7 on the play. And here comes Bijan. The Falcons last week had just a long drive to kill Buffalo. They have the opportunity to do something similar here. Bijan behind Penix. Now Robinson across the formation. This is going to be checked down to Bijan. Bijan breaks one tackle, breaks another one, and he will bowl over a defender to the 40-yard line. First down for Atlanta. And that's about the first time tonight that has worked with getting Bijan in space on one of those screens, because normally it's been just absolutely blown up. But Pitts gets the block he needs to get there, and Bijan's always going to make the first man miss. Bijan now hands off to him and did not make the first man miss that time. That's going to be a loss of 2. And both have had a good night. Christian McCaffrey, though, has had a fantastic night. 100 yards on the ground. He's also touched it, though, a solid quarter more than Bijan. Bijan now comes across the formation. Penix. Throw now finds Kyle Pitts wide open for a first down, and that should be into San Francisco territory. 10:38 left on the clock. And Penix, just a perfect throw for the comeback route. 7 receptions for 61 yards tonight for Kyle Pitts. He's been the favorite target so far tonight for Michael Penix Jr. Penix, he's got Algier to his left. And now he's going to bring Charlie Warner across the formation. Hand off to Algier. Algier gets 3 before he's taken down. That's Elliott on the tackle with help from Bethune. Bijan checks back into the game. Excuse me, that was Mustafa also in on the play, just cutting down Tyler Algier, getting his helmet right on the football. And Tyler Algier is shaken up on the play. So Bijan seems to have, he's not been on the field as much as he normally is, it seems like, at times this year. Tonight. So if Algier is shaken up, you then have to wonder, are there more touches to go around for Bijan, or who else is going to pick up that slack? But, I mean, it's crunch time, so yeah, he's been everywhere tonight. Mustafa has been. He has been really good. So, yeah, interesting little bit here. I would tend to agree. The only issue is they've obviously the 49ers have come in with a really good game plan for keeping Bijan under wraps. Like, just the hand it off and let him go has not worked at all in this game. They have committed to stopping the run, and they're getting pressure on Penix whenever they try to drop back to pass. So, we're going down the street in San Francisco. Woo! Nice drone shot. Yeah, Algier walking off a little bit gingerly, but I don't think that's going to keep Big 2-5 out of the game for very long. 9:48 left to play here. Second and 8 for the Falcons. Penix, he's just going to check this down to Bijan. Bijan's got space, makes a man miss. He's going to plow on down. He'll be about a yard short of the line to gain. So if they're going to bring pressure, that's an interesting screen play. Just a little ugly dump off, make one guy just screaming in miss, and all that. We're at the point, it's winning time. You don't have to win pretty, but you can't. But it's always ugly when you lose. So, toss to Bijan, and he will not make it to the line of scrimmage. Just too many red jerseys in the backfield, and now it's decision time for Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. They're down 3, but this would be a very challenging kick. 4th and 1. You have the best running back in the world. And Algier is back in the game. And you're taking Bijan off the field for 4th and 1. I get it maybe in concept. I don't understand this in actual action. London across the formation. Penix is throwing. He's going to throw it, and London drops the ball. It was broken up. I don't understand that play call in the slightest. That is very, very interesting. Why would you? Okay, if you're going to throw the ball there, Bijan is just as good of a pass protector as Algier. Having him on the field also means that you have to that you basically lock a defender or maybe even two from getting him, and then that's a ball that both players probably should have caught. I don't understand going forward on fourth down when Bijan's not on the field. That is incredibly dumb. So 8-16, Jones, he's throwing. This is going to be a screen pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to find the edge, and he will have the first down. So very good opening field possession now for San Francisco. And San Francisco can just take time off the clock. And a touchdown here with a long drive pretty much wins the game. So let's say resetting the game clock. And okay, so they say he was down. It doesn't matter. All it is a quarterback sneak. And now it is first down for the Niners. Yeah, Trent Williams has had a pretty good night tonight. Which, I mean, is to be expected out of the future Hall of Famer, but Jones hands to McCaffrey. McCaffrey is now going to bounce it back into the gap, and that'll be a first down for the Niners. Now 7 minutes left to play. McCaffrey is going to check out of the game. Brian Robinson will come in for him. This is the moment now where you really, really wish you had those 3 points to end the half. McCaffrey, or Jones, excuse me, hands it off to Robinson. Robinson makes the first defender miss, and he's going to get 7 yards out of the play. So right now, it just seems like every time they hand the ball off, there's nothing that Atlanta's defense can do about it. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think this is probably the end of the line for Trent Williams. He has been fantastic for y'all, though. Jones hands off to Brian Robinson. They're actually going to stand him up. So it's going to be third down and about 1. And here comes Christian McCaffrey into the game. Short yardage situation. I mean, he's not typically a short yardage style of back, but when you have a fantastic weapon like Bijan, or like CMC, you don't take him off the field in a critical down. Or maybe you do if your name's Zach Robinson. I don't know. Jones under center. Use check behind him. McCaffrey behind him. Jones. Where did he fall? Yeah, he got the first down pretty easily. Gets it in another yard. So the clock keeps ticking down. Jones fakes it to CMC. He's under pressure. He's going to evade the pressure. He'll escape, and he'll get 8 yards on the play. How in the world do you let Mac Jones scramble out of the pocket for 8 yards? and just in the nice pump fake got a man in the air rather than just hitting him. Man, just to duck underneath and take off. That's a good play by Mac Jones. Now the ball suddenly, and there's a flag. Too many men on the field. How in the world do you have too many men on the field? And that's okay. That's Raheem is visibly upset. You never see him get upset. Like he's pretty even keeled, and I mean I don't mind it because that is inexcusable. That's going to be first down for San Francisco. He'll bring a receiver across the formation, hand off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey bounce back. He's actually going to get ahead though. That'll be a 2-yard gain for McCaffrey. 3:52, 51, 50 left to play. Falcons have to hold to a field goal. If this becomes a 2-possession game, it is over. From the 17, a shuffle pass backwards, and what a play! Harrison manages to get McCaffrey on the ground, and that's going to be a loss of 5 for the 49ers. What a play there by Harrison. He tracked down McCaffrey, and he was the first man there, and he got him down, wrapped him up by the waist, and that brings up 3rd and 13. Interesting defensive formation here for the Falcons. Jones, back to pass. He throws and he finds McCaffrey for a first down. McCaffrey goes unguarded out of the backfield, and the Niners pick up 3rd and 13. And the Falcons will choose to use their first timeout. Man. McCaffrey is lined up, too. Like, he's in the slot. He's, at the same level as Mac Jones is, but no one picks him up. Like, how in the world do you not want to pick up one of the best players in the world out of the backfield? Like, that's just pretty much defense 101. Is you make sure you know where the best player is at all times. And Jones, I mean, he obviously knew where his running back was. Hits him as soon as he makes the break in his route. Jones under center. Juszczyk and Robinson lined up in I formation, and now it's going to be a timeout, San Francisco. So I don't know what they saw, but they're going to take a timeout as well. I just realized, too, that Bijan has his hairpiece. It's upside down. He's got the Falcons at the L. So that probably explains it. Juszczyk handed off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey will fall forward, and he will actually be pushed into the end zone. And that's going to be a touchdown for San Francisco. So that'll make it a 2-possession game with 2:24 left on the clock. So that should just about do it. And The Falcons have just made too many mistakes in this one. Are you allowed to drag your player? If you're an offensive player, are you allowed to grab and pull them across the line? I know you're allowed to push, because that's typically that rule came up like a decade ago in a Giants game, if I remember correctly. You're not allowed to grab and wrap up and pull, and we still haven't kicked this extra point yet. So, okay, there it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, they would have win and scored the next play anyways. So, and Pinheiro puts it through, and they'll make it a 10-point ball game. So just when I have any sort of optimism about my Atlanta Falcons, they go and have a performance like this. Okay, yeah. I mean, that could have gotten changed because they've done a lot of. They've changed several rules in terms of like leverage, an offensive lineman can get on a running back or something like that near the goal line. So that makes sense. I am posting my week 9. I'm posting my college football week 9 rankings. Let's just go ahead and post that. And send. Okay. Just not a great night for the Atlanta Falcons. Agnew and just absolutely stood up. This is going to be Falcons ball. And they're still talking about it. I mean, whether or not the Falcons, I mean, if you had told me we went 3-3 to start the season with the schedule we had, I would have taken it. The problem is you lost. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I didn't think that you were allowed to pull a runner. But it doesn't really matter. You would have scored. Penix takes a shot downfield, and Mooney is unable to make a catch. That was a good ball from Penix. And Mooney has got to catch that. That hit him right in the hands. I understand you're falling, but he never had it. And that's the thing. Penix is always going to throw a good deep ball. So, don't understand it. So, Bijan in the backfield with Penix. Penix, he's going to step up in the pocket. He'll throw. He'll find Mooney, who gets laid out. And he's going to actually stay in bounds. So, this is probably going to take us down to the 2-minute warning. And it definitely will. So 2-minute warning. And 2 minutes away from falling to 3-3. Blue Jays have officially forced a Game 7 in the ALCS. I don't understand this team. Just very frustrating all around. And then, yeah, is it Falcons Colts next week? I believe. Hold up. Falcons should play the Dolphins next week, which should be as easy. Yes, it's Falcons Dolphins 1 o'clock in Atlanta, so that should be as easy of a win as they come. However, this is also the Atlanta Falcons. Two timeouts. Penix out of the shotgun, and he's barely going to get that pass away. Or are they going to mark this a fumble? Yep, they're going to mark it a fumble right at, let's say, San Francisco recovered a fumble. Once again, Huff just absolutely destroying his tackle. And this might be a second strip sack of the game. No, he easily got that away. So that should be Falcons ball. Penix has had to run for his life a lot of this game. And now they're showing the Niners in the end zone and saying that it's a recovery, was never touched down, never went out of bounds. Okay, well, it's definitely not a touchdown because he was out of bounds. I thought that ball came out. I thought that ball was a pass. He just got hit as he threw. But now we're going to have to sort all this out. That's bang, bang. Probably will stand, so that's probably going to be it. Huff just ran his face mask directly into the ball and Penix's hand. And yeah, you see he's shaking it up. He actually cut his hand, it looks like, right there. And the way Raheem is just staring right through this ref. It would be really, really funny if it weren't for how this game has gone. I think that's a pass in my heart of hearts. Because he's got the ball going forward. Okay, yeah, incomplete pass. Cool. So I thought the ball was going forward. He just kind of threw it in a weird way because he's getting hit as he's throwing. A minute 55 left to play, though. You need 2 scores. You don't need a touchdown here. If you can get in field goal range, you are allowed to kick a field goal first. You don't have to have the touchdown first. You're going to need an onside kick, most likely either way, only having 2 timeouts because you haven't been able to stop McCaffrey all night. Penix, no time left to throw, and he is sacked. And I assume we're going to have an Atlanta timeout, and Penix is down. There is a flag, but Penix is shaken up. Penix he got his leg rolled up on, and illegal contact. So Lenore, just right to the neck area of Drake London, and I assume we're going to see Kirk Cousins for the rest of this game. Penix is a gamer, but I don't think there's any real reason to have him out there. Your comeback hopes are slim to none, and he just gets rolled up on right here. And he immediately comes up ginger. Well, no, Penix is going to stay in this game. So that's a good sign, at least. So Falcons have a minute 47 to play with, down 10. Bijan to the right of Penix. Penix running for his life. He's just not going to get enough on that one as he's trying to run backwards. And Penix, you can tell, is in pain. He's gritting his teeth. Penix has been running for his life all night. And now you see Kirk Cousins is off the bench trying to maybe warm up a little bit. Which Penix got hit in the elbow last week, kind of towards the end of that game. Penix back to throw. That's a deep shot, and he just completely misses Mooney. So Penix is feeling it. Penix is. I understand you don't want to hurt the confidence of your quarterback. However, it's very obvious that something's not right now for him. He's in a lot of pain. You're not going to win this game either way. We'll just say, look, kid, we let you down at times tonight. Let Kirk come in and finish this one. Penix throws it down the sidelines, and London almost goes up and makes a catch there in double coverage. But that ball is going to be swatted away. That'll bring up 4th down. London almost went and got that. I think he probably would have been out of downs either way And then Penix's legs get put right back into another hit. Yeah. So 4th and 10. There's more pressure on Penix, and Penix is just going to throw this one into the dirt. Trying to get away with it. Looks like he wanted a flag, but he's not going to get one. That was not a catchable ball. And so that'll do. That'll do it. San Francisco is going to move to 5-2 in Atlanta. We'll fall back down to 500 just a week after they dominated a Buffalo team that we all thought was heading to the Super Bowl. And I think the keys to this game is the defense could not get off the field at times, and offensively could not protect Penix when it mattered most, and just didn't get Bijan Robinson involved. And there's going to be McCaffrey just up the middle, even more so. So this game's over. So I think I'm going to let you all off now. It's getting pretty late here. And why are we even calling timeouts? You're not going to get out of this, Atlanta. Come on. So I'm going to let it go here. Thank you all for watching. I had a good time. Wish the Falcons would have got a dub, but you take what you can get. So I'll probably try to stream at least something next weekend. Georgia's off. The Falcons play Miami. That's not super interesting to me. So maybe I'll do the third stage of the Martinsville NASCAR race. We'll see. And be on the lookout. I've got a few videos coming out this week. But disappointing. San Francisco 20, Atlanta 10. And I'm going to go ahead and just log off a little bit early because they're not coming back. So, see ya.